The halls of the Galactic Engineering Council buzzed with whispers as Lisa Adams strode through the corridors. Her footsteps echoed against the polished metal floors, and various alien engineers scrambled to get out of her way. Her reputation preceded her like a shockwave. "There goes the impossible engineer," muttered a blue-skinned Centaurian to his colleague. "I heard she rejected the Queen's personal starship design last month." Lisa ignored the whispers, clutching her data pad closer to her chest. At just 35 years old, she had become the most feared and respected ship inspector in the known galaxy. Her standards weren't just high, they were practically in orbit. The latest rejection sat heavily in her mind as she made her way to her office. The Stellar-class cruiser she'd inspected that morning had been praised as the pinnacle of alien engineering, but she'd found 17 critical flaws within the first hour. The ship's designers had been devastated, but she wouldn't compromise. Not when lives were at stake. Her office, a stark and utilitarian space station module, offered a breathtaking view of the galaxy's busiest shipyard. Massive vessels of every conceivable design floated past her window like mechanical whales in a sea of stars. Each one represented someone's dream of perfection. Each one had fallen short. "Computer, display today's report," she commanded, settling into her chair. The holographic screen flickered to life, showing her detailed notes from the morning's inspection. Critical flaw in the primary coolant system. Backup generators susceptible to radiation interference. Life support redundancy insufficient for deep space travel. She read aloud, shaking her head. The same problems, different ships. Why couldn't anyone get it right? A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. "Engineer Adams, your presence is requested in the council chamber," announced the computer's neutral voice. Lisa sighed. Another complaint, no doubt. Another group of wounded egos demanding she justify her standards. She straightened her uniform and headed for the chamber, her steps measured and confident. The council chamber was packed with representatives from a dozen different species. The head counselor, an ancient Regelian with crystalline skin, gestured for her to take the center platform. "Engineer Adams," his voice resonated through the chamber, "your latest report has caused quite a stir. The Stellar-class cruiser you inspected was designed by our finest minds." "Finest minds or not," Lisa replied firmly, "that ship is a disaster waiting to happen. The coolant system alone could fail catastrophically in any ion storm. I won't approve a design that puts crews at risk." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. A tall, tentacled being rose from its seat. "You have rejected every major design presented in the last 3 years. Some begin to wonder if any ship will ever meet your standards." Lisa met its gaze steadily. "I don't set these standards for my amusement. Every flaw I find is a potential tragedy. Every weakness is a life at risk. Until I find a ship that prioritizes practical safety over flashy technology, yes, I will continue to reject them." The chamber erupted in heated discussions. Lisa stood calmly in the center, unfazed by the chaos around her. Her reputation might make her unpopular, but it also made her right. Ships she rejected didn't fail. Crews on vessels she approved didn't die. As she left the chamber later, her data pad chimed with new inspection requests. Dozens of them, from all corners of the galaxy. Each designer convinced their ship would be the one to finally meet her standards. Each one probably wrong. "Maybe they're right," she muttered to herself, watching a massive dreadnought drift past her window. "Maybe I am impossible to please." But deep down, she knew she wasn't looking for perfection. She was looking for something else, something that put practical solutions above theoretical elegance, something that valued the lives of its crew above the impressiveness of its specifications. She just hadn't found it yet. Lisa stared at the message floating on her holographic display with a mixture of disbelief and amusement. An invitation to inspect a human vessel. She almost deleted it on the spot. Earth was barely a century into its space age, a newcomer to the galactic community. What could they possibly offer that would interest her? But something made her pause. The technical specifications attached to the invitation were unusual. Instead of the typical boasts about revolutionary technology or groundbreaking designs, the document was refreshingly straightforward. It detailed backup systems, maintenance schedules, and practical solutions to common problems. "Computer, display Earth's current space travel capabilities," she commanded, leaning back in her chair. The statistics that appeared were modest compared to other spacefaring races, but something about their approach caught her eye. "Interesting," she muttered, noting their focus on redundancy and repairs. They planned for failure instead of claiming perfection. A gentle knock interrupted her thoughts. Her assistant, a tall being with silver skin, entered with another stack of rejection notices waiting for her signature. "More disappointed designers?" Lisa asked, setting aside the human invitation. "Yes, but there's something else." The assistant hesitated. "The human vessel. It's causing quite a stir in the engineering community. They're calling it primitive. But what? But it's completed 16 deep space missions without a single critical failure. That's better than most advanced ships." Lisa sat up straighter. Success rates like that were rare, especially for new spacefaring races. She pulled up the invitation again, studying the specs more carefully this time. The HSS Pioneer wasn't impressive by galactic standards. No artificial gravity in the cargo holds, basic propulsion systems, and manual backup controls for everything. But as she dug deeper into the design, she found herself nodding with growing approval. Every system had a backup. Every backup had a manual override. Everything could be repaired with basic tools and spare parts stored on board. It wasn't elegant, but it was practical. "Computer, accept the invitation," she decided suddenly. "Schedule a transport to Earth's orbital shipyard for tomorrow." Her assistant's metallic features shifted in surprise. "You're actually going to see a human ship?" "Why not?" Lisa gathered her inspection equipment. "At worst, it's a waste of time. At best," she paused, considering the possibilities. "At best, it might be interesting." The news of her acceptance spread quickly through the shipyard. By evening, her office was flooded with messages from other engineers, most expressing disbelief that she would bother with such a primitive vessel. Later that night, as she packed her tools, Lisa found herself studying Earth's history of space exploration. Their early vessels were almost laughably simple, tiny capsules barely capable of reaching their own moon. But they had survived. Their astronauts had returned home. They had learned from each failure, improved their designs, and kept pushing forward. "Computer, show me the Pioneer's mission logs," she requested. The screen filled with reports, not just successes, but failures too. Detailed accounts of problems encountered and solved. Modifications made based on real experience rather than theoretical improvements. One report caught her attention. During a solar storm, the main computer had failed. Instead of being stranded, the crew had switched to manual controls and navigated home using backup systems. No other modern ship she knew of could operate without its main computer. Maybe, she thought, packing the last of her equipment, there's something to learn from simplicity. The transport to Earth would leave early the next morning. As Lisa prepared for sleep, she found herself actually looking forward to an inspection for the first time in years. Not because she expected perfection, but because she was curious. What had these humans figured out that the rest of the galaxy have forgotten in their rush for advanced technology? Tomorrow, she would find out. "Computer, lights off," she commanded. In the darkness, her mind was already running through inspection protocols, but with a new thought. What if the best ship wasn't the most advanced one? Earth's orbital shipyard wasn't anything like the gleaming facilities Lisa was used to. It was a practical, modular structure that had clearly been expanded over time as humanity's space program grew. The HSS Pioneer floated in its berth, its hull a simple white and gray without the usual decorative elements favored by other species. "Engineer Adams," a strong voice called out as she stepped through the airlock. "I'm Captain James Miller. Welcome aboard the Pioneer." Lisa turned to face a tall man in a practical uniform. His handshake was firm, and she noticed calluses on his hands, unusual for a ship's captain. Most commanders she met rarely did physical work. "Your hands," she observed. "You work on the engines." Miller grinned. "Everyone on this ship knows basic repairs. It's part of our training. Would you like to start the inspection in engineering?" As they walked through the corridors, Lisa's trained eye took in every detail. The walls were lined with access panels, each clearly labeled. Handholds were placed at regular intervals, practical in case of artificial gravity failure. Nothing was hidden behind decorative panels or sleek coverings. "Your life support systems," she noted, pausing at a junction. "They're exposed." "Yes," Miller replied. "Makes them easier to repair. We had a choice between pretty and practical. We chose practical." The engineering bay was a stark contrast to the automated rooms she usually inspected. Tools lined the walls, and the engine itself was surrounded by clear walkways and work areas. A team of engineers was actually performing maintenance, their sleeves rolled up as they worked. "Chief Engineer Tom," Miller called out. "Our guest has arrived." A woman covered in grease straightened up from behind a panel, wiping her hands on a cloth. "Welcome to our engine room. Nothing fancy, but she runs like a dream." Lisa walked around the main reactor, noting the obvious human touches. Backup manual controls everywhere, physical gauges alongside digital readouts, simple mechanical systems that could work even if the main computer failed. "You have 6 different ways to monitor reactor temperature," she observed, surprised. 7, actually, Tom corrected. "The last one's a glass thermometer. Old school, but it never fails." As the tour continued, Lisa found herself asking more questions than usual. The humans' answers were refreshingly direct. No boasting about revolutionary technology or groundbreaking innovations, just practical solutions to real problems. "This airlock design," she said, examining the mechanism. "It's completely mechanical. Can be operated without power," Miller explained. "Saved our lives during a power failure last year. Sometimes the old ways work best." In the mess hall, Lisa noticed something that made her stop. "Your food preparation area. It's not automated." "We cook real food," Miller said proudly. "Better for morale. Plus, if the food processors break down, we're not stuck eating emergency rations." Every discovery challenged her preconceptions. The ship wasn't primitive. It was purposefully simple. Every system was designed to be understood, repaired, and operated by its crew. No black boxes, no systems too complex for human hands to fix. "Your cargo hold doesn't have artificial gravity," she noted as they entered the vast space. "Don't need it," Miller shrugged. "Saves power, reduces complexity. We use magnetic boots when we need to work here." As they completed the initial tour, Lisa realized something extraordinary. She hadn't found a single critical flaw. No over-engineered systems waiting to fail. No unnecessary complications. Everything had a purpose, and every purpose was served in the simplest way possible. "Well," Miller asked as they returned to the bridge, "what's your first impression?" Lisa looked around the bridge, taking in the blend of digital displays and physical controls. The clear emergency procedures posted at each station. The well-worn but meticulously maintained equipment. "Captain Miller," she said slowly, "I think I need to do a much more detailed inspection." Miller raised an eyebrow. "Found some problems?" "No," Lisa replied, surprising herself with the answer. "I need to understand how you got so many things right." Lisa spent the next 3 days examining every inch of the Pioneer, much to the crew's amusement. They were used to quick inspections, not this methodical analysis of every system, every backup, every solution. On the morning of the 4th day, she found herself in a maintenance tunnel, watching Engineer Tom demonstrate their unique approach to power distribution. "See these manual switches?" Tom pointed to a row of heavy mechanical levers. "If the main grid fails, we can redirect power physically. No computer needed." Lisa ran her hand along the switches. Most ships rely on automated power management. This is elegant in its simplicity. Simple means less can go wrong, Tom replied, wiping grease from her hands. And when something does break, we can fix it with basic tools. The more Lisa explored, the more she discovered examples of this philosophy. Every system was designed with repair in mind. Access panels opened easily, components could be replaced without specialized tools, and spare parts were standardized wherever possible. In the ship's medical bay, she found another surprise. "You have mechanical ventilators?" she asked the ship's doctor. "Alongside the electronic ones." The doctor nodded. "They run on compressed air. Saved 3 lives during a power failure last year." The ship's water recycling system particularly impressed her. While other vessels used complex molecular filters, the Pioneer employed a series of simple, proven methods working together: distillation, filtration, and even a small greenhouse that helped clean the air while providing fresh vegetables. The greenhouse serves multiple purposes, Captain Miller explained during lunch: air purification, water filtration, fresh food, and it helps with crew morale. When something breaks, we don't need to wait for specialized parts. Most repairs can be done with materials we have on board. Lisa made detailed notes about the ship's waste management system, which used physical and biological processes instead of energy-intensive matter conversion. "This is more efficient than systems on ships twice as advanced," she muttered. "We learned early on that complicated solutions usually create complicated problems," Miller said, watching her work. "Every system on this ship was chosen because it's reliable and repairable." In the engine room, Lisa spent hours studying their propulsion system. It wasn't the fastest in the galaxy, but its design was remarkable. The entire system could be disassembled and reassembled with basic tools. "Watch this," Tom said, demonstrating a maintenance procedure. She shut down an engine section, replaced a component, and had it running again in minutes. "Every crew member can do basic repairs. It's part of our training." The ship's computer systems showed the same practical approach. Instead of a single advanced AI, they used multiple simple computers. If one failed, the others continued working. Critical systems could even run on basic processors that were practically ancient by galactic standards. "Your navigation systems," Lisa noted, examining the bridge controls. "You have star charts on paper." "And a sextant," the navigation officer added proudly. "We can find our way home, even if everything else fails." By the end of the week, Lisa had filled multiple data pads with notes. She'd found no critical flaws, no dangerous oversights, no systems too complex for their own good. Instead, she discovered something she'd never seen before: a ship designed to keep working, no matter what. The crew gathered in the mess hall that evening, curious about her findings. They'd grown used to her presence, her endless questions, her careful examination of every detail. "Well," Captain Miller asked, voicing everyone's curiosity, "how does the Pioneer measure up to galactic standards?" Lisa looked around the room, at the crew who knew their ship inside and out, at the systems designed to be understood and maintained rather than simply admired. "Captain," she said slowly, "I think the rest of the galaxy needs to adjust its standards." The warning alarms blared through Earth's orbital shipyard without warning. Lisa was deep in the Pioneer's engine room, finishing her inspection notes, when the emergency lights began flashing red. "Shipyard's main reactor is going critical." Tom's voice crackled over the intercom. "All hands to emergency stations." Lisa followed the crew as they rushed to their positions. Through the viewport, she could see other ships desperately trying to break away from their docking clamps. The shipyard's massive structure was already showing signs of stress, its metal frame groaning under the pressure of the failing reactor. "Status report." Captain Miller's voice cut through the chaos as Lisa reached the bridge. "Shipyard's automated systems are completely down," the communications officer reported. "Their reactor containment is failing. Estimated 15 minutes until catastrophic failure." "There are still 3 ships docked that can't break free," another officer added. "Their crews are trapped." Lisa watched as the humans responded to the crisis. There was no panic, no desperate reaching for advanced technology to save them. Instead, Miller quickly began issuing practical orders. "Tom, can we hook our power systems into the shipyard's emergency grid?" "Yes, sir, but we'll have to do it manually. Their computer won't recognize our connections." "Do it." Lisa, Miller turned to her. "You know more about advanced reactor systems than anyone here. We could use your help." Without hesitation, Lisa joined Tom's team. They worked quickly, running heavy cables through maintenance tunnels, bypassing automated systems with manual connections. The Pioneer's simple but robust power system was perfectly suited for this kind of improvisation. Reactor temperature still rising. Came the warning from the shipyard's control room. Automated containment systems not responding. "We don't need their automated systems," Tom said, working fast. "Lisa, help me rig a manual cooling circuit, just like the one you were admiring yesterday." Lisa understood immediately. The Pioneer's backup cooling system was completely mechanical, powered by the simple physics of thermal circulation. Together, they began adapting it to connect to the shipyard's reactor. 10 minutes to critical failure. The tracked ships were beginning to show signs of panic, their crews realizing the danger they were in. But the Pioneer's crew worked steadily, applying their practical solutions to the crisis. "Manual override engaged," Lisa announced, her hand steady on the controls. "Initiating emergency cooling sequence." The Pioneer's systems hummed with effort as they took on the massive load of cooling the shipyard's reactor. Warning lights flashed across every console, but the simple, robust systems held steady. "It's working," Tom reported, watching the temperature gauges. "Reactor temperature dropping. But we need to get those ships free." "Already on it," Miller replied. He had dispatched teams with cutting torches to manually release the stuck docking clamps. No advanced technology, just humans with tools, solving problems. 5 minutes to containment failure. Lisa worked alongside the crew, amazed at how their simple systems were handling the crisis. Where advanced automated systems had failed, basic mechanical solutions were succeeding. "Docking clamps cut on first ship," came the report. "They're breaking free." One by one, the trapped ships escaped. The Pioneer's cooling system strained but held, giving them the time they needed. Lisa monitored the readings, making manual adjustments as needed, appreciating how the straightforward design allowed for quick reactions to changing conditions. Finally, the shipyard's reactor temperature stabilized. The crisis had been averted not by advanced technology, but by simple, reliable systems and a crew that understood how to use them. "All ships clear," Miller announced. "Reactor containment holding. Well done, everyone." In the aftermath, as the crew began disconnecting their emergency systems, Lisa stood on the bridge, looking at the shipyard they had just saved. She'd seen countless advanced ships with their sophisticated systems, but none had been able to do what this primitive vessel had just accomplished. "Impressive work," she said to Miller. He shrugged. "Sometimes the simple solutions are the best ones, especially when things go wrong." Lisa nodded, making one final note in her inspection report. She'd come to evaluate a ship, but she'd ended up witnessing something far more valuable. Proof that the best technology wasn't always the most advanced. The Galactic Engineering Council chamber fell silent as Lisa Adams stood at the podium. The events at Earth's orbital shipyard had spread across the galaxy, and now everyone waited to hear her official report on the HS Pioneer. "I've inspected thousands of ships," she began, her voice steady. "I've rejected some of the most advanced vessels ever built. Today, I'm going to explain why a human ship has changed everything I thought I knew about engineering." The holographic display behind her showed the Pioneer systems, not in their usual technical detail, but in practical operation. She had recorded the crisis response, showing how the simple systems had saved lives. "We've been doing it wrong," she continued, causing a stir among the assembled engineers. "We've been building ships that are too complex to fix, too advanced to maintain, and too dependent on automation." A Centaurian engineer stood up. Are you suggesting we abandon centuries of technological progress? Lisa shook her head. I'm suggesting we learn from humanity's approach. The Pioneer succeeded where our advanced ships would have failed, not because it's primitive, but because it's practical. She played the recording of the shipyard crisis, showing how the Pioneer's crew had manually bypassed failed systems and saved 3 ships. The chamber watched in silence as simple solutions solved complex problems. Every system on that ship can be repaired by its crew, Lisa explained. Every backup works without computer control. Every solution is designed to keep working, even when everything else fails. The head counselor leaned forward. And your recommendation? Lisa took a deep breath. What she was about to say would shock the galactic engineering community. I'm requesting a transfer to the Pioneer as chief engineering consultant. We need to study their approach, not dismiss it. The chamber erupted in chaos. Lisa stood calmly as voices raised in protest and disbelief. The engineer who had rejected the most advanced ships in the galaxy wanted to work on a human vessel. Furthermore, she continued once the noise died down, I recommend we begin incorporating human engineering principles into our own designs. Simplicity, reliability, repairability. She brought up more images from her inspection. The mechanical backup systems, the standardized parts, the clear access panels and manual controls. Their ship isn't primitive, she argued. It's evolved differently than ours. While we focused on advancing technology, they focused on surviving when technology fails. An older engineer raised his hand. You've never approved any ship in your entire career. Are you saying you approve of this one? I'm saying this ship has taught me what I've been looking for all along, Lisa replied. Not perfection, but practicality. Not advancement at any cost, but reliability when it matters most. She showed them the Pioneer's maintenance logs. Their success rate is higher than our most advanced vessels. Their repair times are faster. Their crew survival rate is unmatched. These aren't coincidences. The council members whispered among themselves. Lisa's reputation made her words carry weight, even if they challenged everything the galactic engineering community believed. I've made my decision, she concluded. The Pioneer isn't just another ship to inspect. It's a chance to learn a better way of building ships. I intend to take that chance. Captain Miller, who had been quietly watching from the back of the chamber, smiled slightly. He'd known from the moment Lisa started asking questions about their simple systems that she understood what made the Pioneer special. The head counselor stood. Engineer Adams, your request for transfer is unprecedented. But given recent events and your reputation, it will be granted. The Council looks forward to your future reports on human engineering principles. As the chamber cleared, Lisa gathered her data pads. Engineers stopped to congratulate her, some still shaking their heads in disbelief. But she knew she had made the right choice. Ready to start learning our primitive ways? Miller asked as they left the chamber. Lisa smiled. I think I'm ready to start learning how to build ships that actually work. Together, they headed toward the Pioneer's docking bay, where a new chapter in galactic engineering was about to begin. 6 months had passed since Lisa joined the Pioneer's crew, and the changes she had helped implement were already making waves across the galaxy. The ship's engineering bay had become her new home, where human practicality met galactic technology in groundbreaking ways. Pass me that wrench, Lisa called from inside an access panel. Tom handed her the tool, watching as she adjusted a hybrid system they developed together. It combined the Pioneer's mechanical reliability with advanced alien technology, creating something entirely new. The power output is 30% higher, Tom noted, checking the readings, and it's still simple enough to fix with basic tools. The Pioneer had become a testing ground for Lisa's new engineering philosophy. Every improvement maintained the ship's core principle. Everything had to be repairable, reliable, and practical. Message from Galactic Engineering Council, the communications officer announced over the intercom. They want an update on the hybrid systems. Lisa emerged from the panel, wiping grease from her hands. The council had been skeptical at first, but the results spoke for themselves. Ships across the galaxy were beginning to adopt what they now called the Pioneer Standard, a perfect blend of advanced technology and practical engineering. "Tell them to watch this," she said, activating a demonstration sequence. The new hybrid drive hummed to life, its power readings climbing steadily. Complete shutdown in 3, 2, 1. The system went dark. In less than a minute, using only manual controls and basic tools, they had it running again. "Try doing that with a standard antimatter drive." Tom grinned. The Pioneer's reputation had grown. Other ships now requested their help with repairs and upgrades. The crew had become experts at teaching others how to maintain and repair their own vessels, spreading the philosophy of practical engineering throughout the galaxy. Captain Miller entered the engineering bay, holding a datapad. "The Regellian High Command wants us to help upgrade their fleet," he announced. "They're tired of ships being disabled by simple system failures." Lisa nodded, unsurprised. She'd seen too many advanced ships stranded by problems that the Pioneer could fix in minutes. Her decision to join this crew had been the right one. "Show them the new emergency protocols we developed," she suggested. "The ones that let a ship run on minimal power with just mechanical systems." The ship's greenhouse had become a model for other vessels, its simple but effective design providing both food and emergency air filtration. Lisa had added some advanced nutrient monitoring systems, but kept them separate from the basic functions. If they failed, the plants would still grow. "Engineering team to the bridge," Miller called over the intercom. "We've got a new mission." On the bridge, Lisa looked at the star map showing their destination, a distant sector where several ships had gone missing, their advanced systems possibly affected by an unknown phenomenon. "Perfect test for our new sensors," she said. The hybrid detection system they developed combined basic radiation meters with quantum scanning technology. If one failed, the other would still work. The crew took their stations, each position now equipped with both advanced displays and simple mechanical gauges. Lisa had helped design the new layout, ensuring that no single system failure could blind them. "Ready for departure," Miller announced. The Pioneer's engines hummed to life, the new hybrid drive providing more power while maintaining the reliability they were famous for. As they moved away from the station, Lisa watched the systems she had helped create working in perfect harmony. Advanced technology serving human needs, not replacing human capability. Every improvement made with an eye toward repair and reliability. "You know," Tom said, checking the engine readings, "when you first came aboard, we thought you'd hate everything about our primitive ship." Lisa smiled, remembering her initial skepticism. "Instead, I found the perfect ship. Not because it's the most advanced, but because it's the most practical." The Pioneer moved smoothly into faster-than-light travel, its hybrid systems purring like well-maintained machinery. Lisa had finally found what she'd been looking for all along, a ship that valued function over flash, reliability over complexity, and practical solutions over theoretical perfection. She was home.